room with. I encourage you, if you want to do that for next year, right now, get into a community of people that do go there kind of thing and start talking now. Don't just email somebody in 9 months and saying, can I spend the night with you? You're going to probably get a no in return.
Okay. All right. Well, let's read some emails here, and then all you guys, since you're on the line with us, can definitely help me answer the emails. This one is from Jim. Let me see what Jim has to say. I don't know if this is for the show. I'm going to read another one. This is from Paul. Now, this is a different person who sent than we read earlier. When we read earlier was from Rich. This is from Paul. Paul says, after hearing your last podcast and the email about when Netflix is coming to Linux, I have called Netflix customer service at 1-866-716-0414, and I let Netflix know that you want Netflix for Linux. Next year, I'm going to OLF. I think we read that. Did we read that last week or no? It sounds familiar.
I think we read that one on
Android App Addict. Okay, I lost track. And then this is Rich, and we read Rich's email earlier about definitely same thing. Contact Netflix, tell them you want Linux to be on Netflix to be on Linux. Again, the Netflix customer support number is 1-866-716-0414. And gosh, might not be too many things here. This one is from you, Dor. Oh no, this is from Eric. First off, let me just say thank you for your willingness to share on Linux for the rest of us. I've been trying to use Linux since the late 90s. Finally, thanks to you and Steve, I get it now. So a million thanks to you and Steve for doing what you do. Now to my question. Is there a way to create a virtual copy of my Windows machine that I can run as a VM in Linux? I have tried using Disk2 VHD in Windows with some success, but I didn't know if there was other better options. Again, thank you so much for what you have done for the open source community. I'm absolutely certain that they will cast a bronze statue in your honor one of these days. All the best, Eric. I emailed Dora. I said, I want to see that statue. All right, but what did you tell him to do? What did you tell him to do, Dora?
Okay, well, there's two options I know of to taking a physical installation of an operating system and converting it to a virtual operating system in one that can run in a virtual environment, either VMware, VirtualBox, whatever the choice is. The two I know of is there's a built-in tool to VMware that is free, and certain versions of VMware Server are also free, to where you can actually do what's called P2V, physical to virtual. You can try that. I personally have had very mixed results with that. And the one thing I will tell anybody, before you try to convert any physical to virtual, because Windows does such a very bad job of this, no matter who at Microsoft tells you it does a great job at it, defrag the drive. Over defrag the drive. Run a good defragging tool at least 3 times, and then do the P2V. You'll be surprised how often now it will magically work. The second one actually the first one, there's a link on howtoforge.com, VMware _converter Windows Linux.
Wow.
Goes through all the tools and step-by-step how to do it with the VMware tools. Now, the only other way I ever heard of doing this was from Hack5, using a tool that was after the fact purchased by the U.S. government called Helix, Helix. Very unique tool that you could boot to for, what's it called when a police agency looks at a drive,
Forensics.
Thank you very much, guys. This tool, you could put it into an unbooted system, boot to it, and you could do forensic testings on it, make copies of the hard drive on it. But the big plus it had was you could put it into a computer that was turned on. And while the computer's turned on from that tool, you could create a copy of the entire hard disk. Now, that would make what was called a DD file, 99% sure. Then you had to run another script against that file, which converted it to a VKHD, I think it is, which is the virtual box VMware acceptable virtual hard drive thing. And I had really good success with that, but that's a lot of code punching and terminal stuff pounding. So I heavily encourage you to try the VMware one first and defrag that drive as best as you can.
Awesome. Thanks, Dora, for answering that. Does anybody else have anything to add to that? All right.
Not really.
Okay. Well, let's wrap it up, guys. We'll go around and each of us tell us, where people could find you. And we'll start with Ellis. Ellis, thanks for joining us on the show. Any last comments and where people could find you?
I'd like to support Podnutz members next year at Linux Fest. Be great to have a larger group and be a good time. You can find me. I'm on Twitter and Google Plus and a bunch of websites. I by the username of Clark434. Everywhere, if I'm registered, I go by that username.
Say it again because you cut out. Was it Clark Kent? What is it?
Clark434.
I think you cut out again. Say it again.
It's Clark Kent 434.
Clark Kent 434. Okay, we got it now. Wow. Awesome. Well, thank you, Alex, for joining us. Jeff, how about you?
Well, Steve, I wanted to thank you for putting our group picture up. That was a great thing, all the guys together, and you put that on the website. And I just want to thank you for that.
No problem.
You can find me on Google Plus as Blackhammer2. My email is blackhammer221@gmail.com. I work with Ellis on our computer repair, although I'm further north. And those are places where I'm lurking.
Awesome, man. Well, it was great talking to you and Ellis for the first time. I totally appreciate you guys coming on the show. And definitely check those guys out. Follow them. Follow Jeff and Ellis on wherever they can be found, Twitter, Google+, wherever you want, you can find them. Tracy's not with us still, right, Tracy? You there? No. All right, Russ, how about you?
Okay, you can find me at thetechiegeek.com, the podcast, and also the Techie Geek on Twitter and Identica, and just Russ Winter on Google+.
Awesome. Definitely check out Russ and his podcast that he does with Tracy. The Techie Geek.
I'll just mention one quick thing about Tracy. He just released a Hacker Public Radio cast, which is hackerpublicradio.org. It's going to be a little series on modern survivalism. This is not what do we do when the aliens come to take over the earth kind of survivalist, okay? This is just modern day using what you have to spend less money and protect yourself. If you lose your job for 2 months or there's a gas shortage or you have an extended power outage, great tips and techniques on how to extend what you already have and save money.
Cool. Sounds good. I'm sure he would appreciate you saying that.
Well, and at the end, in this one, he gave a recipe that I have already tried, and I will say, dang tasty. So I kind of begged him when he does his next one, give me another recipe, man.
Okay. What about you, Dor? Where can people find you?
Google Plus. Google Plus now, I believe beta is done. You don't need to invite anymore, so everybody go in. I will say, if you are on Google Plus, please don't hesitate to ding me. You can take every one of the share things out and just put my name and say I'm from Podnutz to make sure I have you in my Podnutz circle, because I do post computer repair topics, things I found out, like there's a BIOS level virus that's been out in the wild. It was just found like 2-3 weeks ago. So I do post computer repair topics. I will by default say I post a lot of Linux stuff. So if you want to be in my Linux circle, do the same thing. Ding me there and just say Linux, and I'll make sure that you're in that circle. If you want to learn Linux and it's not easy to read the manual, or it's not easy to do the trial by error kind of thing, don't hesitate to go to Linux for the rest of us.com, 2+ hours of video of how to do very common task inside of a Linux. Satisfaction 100% guaranteed.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Dor. You're the man. If anybody wants to email the show, you could send an email to Dor at dorgeek@podnutz.com, or you could send it to me at mail@podnutz.com. Either way, it'll make it onto the show. If you want to call us and leave a voicemail, do that, please, at 7076-PODNUT. 7076-PODNUT. The podcast awards have started at podcastawards.com. If you want, and you want to support Podnutz, go there and put in your favorite Podnutz show in one of the boxes. What we're basically trying to do, I think, is for favorite technology show, we're using Podnutz Daily. So if everybody uses Podnutz Daily, that'll put us on the map.
Right. Well, and for the entertainment one, we're doing the Nuts at Night, because honestly, if you don't listen to that show, you don't know how to laugh, okay? Great show.
Thank you, Dor. He's right. If you do go to the entertainment section and put in Nuts at Night, I got to tell you guys, Nuts at Night has come a long way. If you haven't listened, if you heard it in the early stages, okay, it might have been like, first of all, it was just me rambling on. Then it was me and Steve D rambling on. Now we got 4 knuckleheads on the show, and it's pretty good now. So, not that the old ones were horrible, but it's a different flavor now. We have some real. I call it craziness, but I keep everybody in line, so it's very Podnutz appropriate for the most part. But these guys take it to the edge, I'll tell you that. But it's a good time. We're laughing our butts off. So check it out if you haven't listened to that show in a while. And if you want to make that your favorite entertainment podcast, then definitely do that. Podcastawards.com. Let's win something this year. Let's win. So again, we're putting Podnutz Daily as your favorite tech podcast. Even if you love this one the best, we had to pick one, so we're using Podnutz Daily.
And to be honest, Podnutz Daily has been around much longer, has really great guests on each and every week. I want to support that one.
Thanks, Dor. All right, well, thank you, everybody, for joining us for Linux for the rest of us. Sorry about a little bit of a technical difficulty tonight. Tampa lightning finally hit me. I mean, all my equipment's not fried, obviously, but it did knock me out for a couple seconds, and that was enough to knock me completely offline. So that hopefully won't happen again if I buy a surge protector, which I might do. I'll think about it. Anyway, thanks for joining us for tonight's show, and we'll see you guys next